All right, let's get right into it. There's this huge but kind of invisible crisis playing out right now along North America's busiest trade route. And look, if you run a business in Ontario, this is way more than just some environmental story. It's a ticking clock, and it represents a serious and growing financial risk to your bottom line.
So, just to give you a sense of the scale we're talking about, here's the first number you need to know. 3.46 million tons. That is the amount of waste Ontario ships over the border to Michigan every single year. I mean, just try to picture that. It's a never-ending line of trucks, a constant river of garbage flowing south.
And to put that number in perspective, it's not just some small overflow. We're talking about more than a quarter, 27% of all the municipal waste Ontario generates. So you can see this isn't just a convenience, right? It's become this deep structural dependency that has shaped the province's entire waste strategy for decades.
And this number? Well, this is the deadline. This is the big one. According to just about every projection out there, 2034 is the year Ontario's own landfills are expected to be completely, totally full. That is the waste cliff. If that escape hatch to Michigan suddenly slams shut, the province literally has nowhere left to put its own trash. And in infrastructure years, 2034 is basically tomorrow morning.
So this really gets us to the heart of the problem. For years, the easy answer was just to ship the problem somewhere else, out of sight, out of mind. But that export model, it's not a safe bet anymore. It's actually turned into a kind of geopolitical trap, where all these economic and political forces are making the whole system incredibly shaky.
So, how on earth did we get here? Well, honestly, it boils down to some really simple economics. For the longest time, Michigan's state fee to dump a ton of waste was, get this, 36 cents. Unbelievably low. Now compare that to Ontario, where it can cost you over $100 a ton. This huge price gap created what everyone calls the Michigan lure, a financial incentive so powerful it was almost impossible to ignore. Just load up a truck and drive.
But that window is slamming shut, and it's happening fast. The whole export model is getting hit from every direction. You've got Michigan's governor trying to push through a massive 1,200% fee hike to stop the imports. You've got the big USMCA trade deal coming up for review, which could reclassify waste entirely. And you've always got the threat of sudden tariffs that could just stop the trucks dead in their tracks overnight. The whole system is just brittle.
And the penalties we're talking about here aren't just small fines. They are designed to make this whole thing impossible. We're looking at potential 35% federal tariffs on the hauling services themselves. And on top of that, U.S. Customs can slap a 40% penalty on a load if they even suspect it has foreign stuff in it, which would violate their rules. These aren't just business costs. They are designed to completely kill the economic reason for doing this.
Okay, so if the old way of doing things is broken, what comes next? This is where we start to see a real, fundamental shift in thinking. We're moving away from just hauling garbage to intelligently refining it. And the solution we're looking at is called the 95-wood digital refinery, which is a totally new way to think about industrial waste.
So what in the world is a digital refinery? Think of it like a system, a technical architecture. Its main job is to take physical waste, in this case wood from construction sites, and transform it into a super detailed stream of data. And this is the key. By turning that physical stuff into verifiable data, you suddenly unlock its hidden value. It's not trash anymore. It's a feedstock for the new bioeconomy.
This quote just nails the mindset shift perfectly. It stops being about how do we get rid of this garbage and starts being about how do we capture this valuable resource that's just in the wrong place. That one change in perspective, well, it changes everything from your logistics to your accounting.
Okay, so that's the what. Now let's dig into the how. How does this thing actually work? Well, it all runs on an AI engine that's been built to do one job incredibly well, to give you automated, provable compliance at every single step of the process.
And on the ground, the process is actually surprisingly straightforward. It's just a 3-step workflow. First, you use an app that has Google's Gemini AI built in. You scan the wood, it scores the quality, and it locks in the GPS location. Done. Second, the system instantly tells you how much money you just saved by not going to the landfill and turns that wood into a carbon asset you can actually trade. And finally, the whole thing gets digitally signed, creating a permanent, unchangeable record.
Now, under the hood, there's some serious tech making this all happen. You've got AI running right on the device for instant analysis. On the back end, a database using AI does these lightning-fast searches to make sure there are no contaminants. And, most importantly, something called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG, makes sure every single decision the system makes is backed by a legal fact.
And this is the absolute game changer for any large business worried about compliance. The system uses that RAG technology to ground every single decision it makes in the actual legal text of government rules, like Ontario Regulation 347. This is what's called policy as code. Every certificate it creates literally cites the specific law, creating a completely bulletproof, audit-ready paper trail.
So we've seen the crisis, we've seen the tech, let's pull it all together and talk about the payoff. Because for a business, this isn't just about feeling good or being green. It's about taking what is a huge compliance headache, a liability, and turning it into a real, verifiable financial asset.
And here's what that looks like in dollars and cents. By proving your waste is clean and properly diverted, you immediately avoid those huge new levies, which can be up to $60 a ton. At the same time, you're generating brand new revenue from carbon removal certificates. And because you streamline the whole process, your operations get more efficient. It's a triple win.
The financial model that makes this all click is called decoupled billing. And what's so smart about it is that it splits your bill in two. You have your standard logistics cost, paying for the truck, and then you have the separate government levy. When the AI verifies your load is clean, that levy just vanishes. It drops to zero. Your invoice literally shows you the money you just saved, turning compliance into a profit center. And that really brings us to the final question for any business leader in Ontario. As this old, broken export model falls apart, you've got a strategic choice to make. Is your waste stream going to stay on your books as a growing compliance cost, or are you going to turn it into a verified, production-ready source of new revenue?